Greetings, everybody. Welcome on back to the AnKorage, and we are going to be starting up on a new series that I decided to do, and we're going to be getting started today. And so grab your drinking horns. We're going to get started with LYSQuest. So welcome on back, and we are going to be starting up the new series called LYSQuest, and just a little bit of a breakdown of that word LYSQ and of course quest. I use quest on every series and every video, but the first part of it, LYS, that is taken from the word analysis. So there you go. And where does analysis come from? Well, I'm actually, I did a synonym lookup for that, and it's from the word review. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be, decided, I do occasionally purchase a product from merchant sites like Etsy, eBay, Amazon. I mean, just pretty much everybody does that these days, stuff like that. I'm no different. But I do prefer, ideally, I do prefer from, purchasing from an actual merchant, and even, in a face-to-face environment. And I'm going to touch base a little bit on that with one of my examples. But in this one here, we are actually going to be focusing on a recent purchase for horn cups. Cups that were made from, whether it be bullhorn, oxhorn, things of that sort. So we're going to be covering on that. And what's my inspiration from? Well, it's from the television show Vikings from years back. I think it goes all the way back to like 2011, 2012, somewhere in that range. And of course, these days we have Vikings Valhalla on Netflix, which totally it's similar, but that's as far as it goes. It's just pure storytelling at this point. But it's done very well, and I do like it, and they do continue some aspects from the original Vikings show. And, and of course, myself, I have a deep appreciation for, what everybody says, Vikings, but for me, it's more so about, not so much about the Vikings themselves, but the people back home, the Old Norse. So, as you can see back there, I've got my Odin's Raven banner up on the wall. So, I actually happen to have a couple of cups here that I purchased from a merchant on Etsy, and we are going to go out and we're going to go take a look at that, and I'm going to show you what it was. So, over here on Etsy, I went and I purchased two of these. These are drinking horn mead cups, and then there's free personalization engraving, and it's by the merchant Only Viking. So, and that merchant has a 5-star rating, which is great. And of course, they're running a deal right now, 50% off sale for a limited time. So today is December 4th, I believe. It's Tuesday. And I'm logged in on my household account, which is Ragnar AnKorage. So there we go. For this, we've got a whole lot of pictures and different things. And in fact, there's a little video-y kind of thing right here. So you can see them. They're holding it and they're turning it. So you can see it. Now it looks great. And, and here you can see a variety of the different cups that they have. And you can see here, this horn has great patterns on it, and it looks really good. And you can see that, there's slight variations in the length. It's minuscule differences. They're all generally the same. And of course, for the personalization, you can pick one of these fonts, and you can have something engraved by laser on the base of the cups. So why don't we talk about it a little bit? Item details. Let's look at that. So I'm going to expand that out. Okay, right off the bat, it says it's handmade, and the materials are ox horn, wood, and a lacquer seal. And the first thing they say is free laser engraving personalization with the order in if you wish to add that. Only personalized message. So, yes, we can engrave each cup with different words or / names when you purchase a set. We can do logos on request. I know I have a household logo, but do I want to put that on there, or do I want to use the AnKorage channel logo? I haven't decided. Chances are you'd have to provide an SVG file, which is no problem. I can do that. But genuine ox horn, and you can see it starred. Drink from a genuine and ethically sourced ox horn mead cup. The complete word is capitalized. Okay. A wooden base. Every drinking horn is made from premium wood base. We use premium mango wood to make sure that the cup is durable and leak-proof. Choose between different sizes and colors. So choose between a black finish and a light finish. That you can't get any more specific than that because they really can't do that. Personalization, laser engraving, 100% satisfaction guarantee. Material ox horn. Available in 2 sizes, 9 to 12 ounces and 3 to 5 ounces. So that's good. Yeah. 9 to 12 ounces. That's where, if you look at those variations up here, yeah, you can see that. You can see like the height differences. So everything like that. So, and it's got a note here regarding care. Don't put your horn product in the dishwasher or drink extremely hot liquid, aka coffee, in it, as extreme heat can damage the horn. All sizes are approximate. All the horns are sourced ethically. My wild guess on the source ethically is that the animal is already dead. That's all I can think of. There may already be maybe other methods, but there we go. So that is that. And of course, then it goes down into the reviews, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. And it goes on. So there we go. And so that does it with that. And coming on back to me. And here we go. And I wanted to show you the 2 cups that I have purchased. And sorry about that. And these are them. So I had purchased a black finish. And I wanted the longer ones. The 3 to 5 ounces are probably about half the length. So probably like that-ish. And so I got the larger ones because, I want them to be a cup that I drink out of. And you can see that they're horn. And I'm going to try to have some B-roll footage that I can put up. So. But these are very, very nice. They've got a nice curvature to them so that you cannot mistake that they are horn. And you can also tell that they're horn because, they're somewhat translucent. You can see through them in the lighter areas, not so much the dark areas, but the lighter areas. So, and then the base, here is that mango wood down here. And I had these personalized, and let's see if I can get the angle. If I can get these angled right. Of course, I'm shaking, but there we go. And you can see it, and it says Ragnar AnKorage. So that is the name of the household. That is my home. Excuse me. And there we go. So I actually have some talking points, and I wanted to go over some of those. And, we just went over the Etsy page. So, and I just showed the cups, and I'm going to look them over. And so let's see, I just want to get that so I can see myself. Okay. So I'm going to look at the small one here. And this is the smaller one. And how can I tell that it's smaller? Just by looking at it. And also, the best way to tell is the base. Look at them next to each other. There's this, you can see which one's the small one and which one is the bigger one. So this one is the smaller one, so it doesn't hold as much liquid as the larger cup, and that's perfectly fine. And you know, the you know, it would be nice if we could pick the volume that it holds. If we wanted the thicker ones like this, you know, I said this is thicker, but it's wider. It's got a lot more volume to it. This one doesn't so much. It's a little smaller. I look at them and I'm like, oh, we've got a his and a hers. You know, because of his, you know, you gotta drink, oh, whatever. But you know, you have a lot, and then of course you got the smaller one. You know, it's a little more. It's smaller. It's quainter. It's daintier, I guess. You know, it's cute. You can, big enough so you can put your pinky finger up and be like, you know, oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. But in neither sense. But it would be nice to be able to pick the volume the general volume, not exact, but you know, a larger volume versus the smaller volume. It'd be nice if we could pick that. You know, is in regards to the sizes in general with these, you know, and it's like you can't get too demanding on what you receive, because you know, you gotta look from their standpoint a little bit. They order up their supplies, their horn supplies, because what they have to do is they have to cut it down to size, and then of course, you know, they have to cut the wood and shape it and everything, and then they have to adhere it to the horn, and then they have to seal it. So you know, their product that they receive comes from a supplier, as it were, and they made, you know, they say they're ethically sourced, which is fantastic. I love that. Yeah, I mean, just like, you know, like my joke says, you know, how do you ethically source horn? You can definitely, if the animal's already dead. You don't want to go out and lop them off of live animals. That would be mean. So, yeah. So these are looking pretty good. So I'm going to jump back here. All right. So my next note is that I'm going to look these over, and which I've already done off camera. And I've got my little light here. And so we've got, let's see, let's start with the smaller one. So here's the smaller one. Give it a look over. I see the finish on it. It's the darker finish. And that's mainly because it's got a lot of the darker tone in color up here, such like that. So yeah, it's got a lot of the lighter, but it's you know, it's got a lot of the dark, so it's the dark finish. The lighter portions are just to give it character, so it's got great character. And looking it over, it's a smooth finish on the outside. Did they actually sand it down, stuff like that? They may have, I can't tell, but it tells me that this nice and smooth surface is probably lacquer. And if I look inside, I shine the light inside, and I'm looking around there, and down at the base, I see lacquer down at the base, you know, to seal it, to seal that wood onto the horn. And, you know, looking around on the sides, I'm not seeing anything really noticeable. So chances are it may not be sealed on the inside, but if I feel, it's a lot rougher on the inside. So it's possible that sealant or the lacquer was not used on the inside, but I could be wrong. If I look at the other one, same thing, smooth finish, very nicely cut base. The personalization, awesome. And if I shine the light inside, so get the same thing. I can see the lacquer on the bottom of the wood and run down in the corners, so that's sealed up nice. And by looking up, we actually have that same rough in part of it. Of course, you know, this is a larger top, so you can actually get your fingers down inside of it and you can feel around in there. So I'm feeling around inside, and I do feel some of that same rough area like I did on this one. So, but I'm also feeling lacquer. So if I take a good look in there and shine the light just so, I can see drip lines. So lacquer was used on the inside of this one at least. And of course, I see, like, you know, you can only go so deep. So what it tells me is that they probably brushed the inside and then just set it up on a table and let it dry. And during that time, beads of the lacquer ran down on the inside. And that's fine. I'm not going to complain about that. Would it be nice if it actually completely covered the entire interior on it? It would have been. I would certainly suggest that that be done in the future. You know? And well, how do I apply it? That's actually not all that difficult. A waterproofing swab, basically, which is basically a threading, kind of like a pom-pom on the end of a stick. You know, you get that sometimes when waterproofing boots, you know, work boots, you know, the rawhide style. You take that kind of brush, you dip it into the lacquer, and you stick it down inside, and you run it inside. You know, you can use a foam brush. You could try. Might work out pretty well. So, yeah, you can do that. And let's see. All right, so I looked it over, everything like that. So let's skip on forward to comparing it with an ale tankard. So what I've actually got here is I have an ale tankard that this was purchased from at a Renaissance fair from an actual merchant, physical, face-to-face. They had little easy ups and they had their product inside. I went in there, grabbed it, and you know, and then you purchase it from the vendor. So that's what they're called. You know, they're vendors. They're vending the Renaissance fair. And so, and you can see these got these nice tankards. These are nice. You know, of course they're somewhat machined, you know, with saws and stuff like that, and you're urethaned. And you know, it's a very good mug. This one, however, was broken on the handle. The handle was broken off at the very base and everything. I was able to read here with some wood glue. And there you go. There you go. Now, why am I comparing it with these? Well, if you happen to see the inside, you see the inside of the horn. What is the horn made out of? Well, it's a natural growth on the animal, and you know, by tapping it and feeling it and looking at it, it's not much different than a fingernail. A fingernail has collagen in it. It's collagen in horn. So there we go. And you know, looking at the inside and, you know, shining it here, you can see you got the horn on the inside, you get the base down there. And looking at it, well, you see horn characteristics here, and you see horn characteristics on the inside. Now the mug. You can tell it's a mug, but on the inside, you've got black. You know, it's a black sealant, and it's a waterproofing method. And more than likely, it's a water-based black. You know, you could say a lacquer, but it's probably a polyurethane, because as I feel it on the inside, it's very smooth. So, you know, it's not glass smooth. I mean, there's a little, you know, pops of, you know, bubbles or whatever that was in it and stuff like that, and the way that it cured. But it's black. It looks like it's polyurethane, a water-based polyurethane, which is safe for this. And my recommendation for the merchant is do the same thing on the insides of these. Use a water-based polyurethane or water-based lacquer or something like that to seal the insides. And here's why. I need to come up here. And I'm going to grab this guy. This is a horn cup that I purchased from a merchant on Etsy that operates out of England. And I had bought 3 altogether. And this was my favorite one because of, that portion there. And it's not overly small. It's not overly big. It's a nice medium as far as the amount of volume in it. And, it worked out great until I actually put some Mateus Rosé wine in it. And, it did great and everything like that. However, the alcohol content got down into the base, into the sides, and broke away the sealant, and the base popped off. So I went in with a food grade silicone and re-adhered it and continued to use it. However, it still leaked. How did it still leak? Well, these cups they had a smell to them, which was natural. And the merchant actually said, it'll have a natural smell to it, stuff like that. It dissipates over time and it's gone. It's not there anymore. So that tells me that these were somewhat new, newly obtained or newly acquired for sale. And that's great and everything. But, looking at the inside of this one, there's no sealant or lacquer that's on the sides, on the inside. It's just raw horn. So, however, this one, these appear to have that to an extent. So like I was saying, it would be good to have that sealant lacquer all the way through, all the way to the bottom, because it is clear that with this one, at least, that's not so, because I see drip lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get the sealant to a point and then it stops. And that, that's fine and everything like that. But like with this one, it's all sealed up. And believe me, I applied a lot of silicone, especially on the outside, because that's where I can reach. I can't reach the inside so much. If I take a look, yeah. It looks like it's, it's got little sealant cracks or something like that. But yeah, this one still leaks. My test was during the summer, where I had some orange soda. Summer orange soda is great for the summertime. So I had that, and I had it in the cup, and I had a paper towel folded up and it was sitting on it. And I would come back like 30 minutes later to take a sip, and there was soda on the paper towel. So, even though this is completely sealed up, it was still leaking out. Where was it leaking out? Probably, more than likely, through the horn material itself. So, I'm hoping that does not happen with these. So, I haven't used these yet. So, excuse me. I'm going to do some testing on this. So I'm going to use the smaller one, because if there's any damage or anything like that, I'd prefer it to be on the smaller one. How am I going to test it? 2 tests. I'm going to fill this with water, and I'm going to let it sit for 3 hours, and then I'll look at it again, and we'll see if we've got any leakage. Now, where would leakage typically happen? Well, typically we would see like where it's sealed up, or where the wood meets the horn. That is a telltale sign. That's just an obvious thing. Could it also leak through the horn material itself? Possibly. There's no way to tell unless you actually go ahead and do it. So I'm going to do a 3-hour test with water in this cup and see how that runs. And so why don't we go and we'll get that one done. All right, so here we have, let's get some light on it. There we go. All right, so what we've got here is I've got the horn mugs right there, or horn cups right there. And we can see that I've gone through and this is just water. So I've got that in there. What's this vodka over here for? Well, that's going to get put into here. So I'm going to pour that real quick because I need 2 hands to do that. Okay, so that's done. And as you can see, there's the vodka in there. I'm not going to drink it because I don't like it so much. And I've actually got this vodka to use for cleaning and tinctures and things of that sort. So, so not as a beverage. Now, why am I using water and vodka? Well, water is just water. It doesn't break down anything, stuff like that. And chances are the cups will hold this fine. Now, the vodka has got alcohol in it. So it's 80 proof, so 40% alcohol. So this is to test to make sure whether or not it actually eats away at the material. So, and I've got this lovely piece of paper towel here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this out like that. I'm going to put the water over here on the right. I'm going to put the vodka over here. And I picked the smaller cup to use for the vodka because if there's going to be any damage, I want it to be on the smaller one. So, and so we're going to let this go for 3 hours, and we'll come back and we'll take a look. So why don't we do that? 3 o'clock check, and no evidence of any leakage so far. Pretty good. And it's a few minutes early, but we'll take a look at it, and it's dry as a bone. And feeling around the edges, it's dry. This is the water, that's fine. This is the vodka, and it's fine. So there we go. Okay, I've done all of my testing, and it performed pretty well. I've rinsed them out with some clean water and let them dry. So I've got them right here. There they are. And looking them over, something that I noticed that wasn't there before is down at the very crease where the horn meets the wood is something that almost looks similar to delamination or layers of the collagen in the horn, possibly separating. I mean, I'm not a pro on this or an expert, but from what I see, it's not very pronounced. It's very, very minute, and except on the larger one, which had just the water in it, it does seem to be a little more noticeable. But overall, these did really, really well. And so I'll be happy to use them again for actual beverages and drink them. There we go. And I think I might want to get 2 more so I can have a whole set. So there we go. So how many stars does the review get? I'm pretty confident that it's a very good product and it's very well put together, and it does hold up to my testing for the most part. And so I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. So there we go. And so One Viking did very excellent job. Just tips regarding how could they improve it is what I mentioned before. Put in that waterproof proofing inside, namely that water-based polyurethane or an epoxy or something that's food safe. And there you go. So that is this video for this first inaugural video for LYSQuest. And I hope to have more in the future. So thank you very much, Skál, and we'll talk to you later.